let me express my sympathy for the Iranian people. The real coronavirus death toll has reached 145,000 casualties. The official figure is less than a third. The regime lies about the numbers since it fears widespread popular protests, as it has not been really well working to prevent the spread of the virus. A year ago, November 2019, the Iranian regime killed 1,500 protesters. And according to my mind, an international independent fact-finding mission should be appointed to investigate the Iranian regime's violations against human rights. Last month, the regime hanged the wrestling champion Abid Afkari, that has been stated many times in today's conference. And the international community was very shocked of the brutality. And let me express, Abid Afkari, rest in peace. Dr. Shaibat Rehman, United Nations Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in Iran, presented his report 2 weeks ago to the United Nations General Assembly session, to all nations of the world. And he said, I quote, "The government and the judiciary appears to be implementing death sentences against protesters to prevent peaceful dissent and restrict civic space. The recent arbitrary execution of protesters and Abid Afkari for his participation in August 2018 protests is emblematic of this concern," I unquote. We all know that the Iranian regime is nervous and terrified of popular protests. They are afraid. Mohammad Reza Shahyarin died last month. He was an Iranian vocalist and master of Persian traditional music. He is widely considered as one of the greatest Iranian artists of all time. Despite his popularity, the security forces stopped people from attending his funeral, falsely claiming coronavirus restrictions. The government is afraid. I believe in democracy, human rights, rule of law, and fair market economy without corruption. These values guarantee the best living standard in the world. Freedom is the most effective means to create innovations and better future and prosperous culture. And the history gives the evidence to us that freedom always wins and the dictatorships fails. It is only the question of time and moment when that happens. Now I ask, what can be done to support the Iranian people? The answer is that we, the international community, must stand with the young people of Iran in their desire for a better future. We need sanctions against Iranian leadership and corrupted revolutionary guards. We must make it clear that there is no escape from justice and criminal responsibility for violations against human rights. That moment for that responsibility will approach. And we have to promise full cooperation and economic support by the European states when Iran leaves the darkest hours of her history behind her and when the country changes the form of government to democracy and guarantees human rights. Then the cooperation starts. What you can do is to realize these dreams with a 10-point plan of the Iranian opposition leader, Mariam Rajabi, because it is the right path for the future. Ms. Rajabi, when she talks about modern judiciary, when she talks about the separation of religion and state, and when she talks about peaceful coexistence with other countries, these are the values that we all share in the Western world, and we can all agree for better Iran. Free Iran, free Iran, and free Iran. Thank you.